Top 10 Unusual Animal Friendships That Will Melt Your Heart. There are some people out there that still believe that animals are just dumb beasts, but the unlikely animal friendships we've gathered here will prove that they are capable of feeling love and compassion just like we are. Naturally, all of these animal friendships are heartbreakingly adorable, but there's more to it than that. Why did these animals form their friendships? Some of them, like the lions, dogs, and elephants, are known for forming strong social relationships or even networks in the wild. In the absence of their prides or packs, it makes sense that they would seek other animal friends outside of their species. Other more solitary animals may form a parent-child relationship with animals that they spend time with or that helped raise them, especially if their parents are gone. Whatever the reason may be, unusual friendships like these show that animals may be far more emotionally complex than many of us believe. Yet as complex as they are, these animals also have their hilarious moments with their friends. Maybe the friendships aren't so unusual after all. Here are 15 animal friendships that will melt your heart. Bubbles the African elephant and Bella the black Labrador. Bubbles is 32-year-old and lives in South Carolina, United States of America, in the Myrtle Beach Safari. She was rescued in 1983 from the slaughter of her family by poachers looking for ivory. Bella, the black Labrador, was left behind by her owner, a contractor that was hired to build a pool at the reserve in 2007. Bubbles is an African elephant and Bella is black Labrador. At first glance it looks as if the only thing that they have in common are their tails. But this duo has found that their love for swimming has glued them at the hips. The best friends live at the Myrtle Beach Safari in South Carolina. Together they love to jump and play in the water. The big elephant will pick up the ball with her trunk and throw it out, and Bella loves to fetch it back and ride on Bubbles' back. The story of their friendship shows that even though many of us are different on the outside, there are probably some things that we have in common that will cause us to be friends forever. B. The Giraffe and Wilma the ostrich. The young gawky animals have become fast friends at Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay, Florida. B. 3, and Wilma, 10, live on the 65-acre Serengeti Plain, an exhibit filled with giraffes, zebras, rhinos, African elephants and birds. Though most animals tend to hang out with their own species, B and Wilma, who were both born and raised on the theme park grounds, have reached out to each other. There's plenty of opportunity for the animals to interact and know one another, assistant curator Jason Green tells People Pets. Giraffes and ostriches are both naturally curious animals, too, and they don't shy away from checking each other out. Are they just friends, or forming a love connection? Green says they seem to enjoy spending time together. A true testament to their bond. Bee likes to use her tongue to explore her surroundings, and Wilma isn't fazed by those very close encounters, says Green. Sounds like love to us. Perhaps they've bonded over their long necks. Their beautiful gaits. Whatever it is, something magical has brought B the Giraffe and Wilma the ostrich together at Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay, Florida. According to zookeepers, the two young creatures just can't seem to get enough of each other. Tinny the dog and Sniffer the wild fox. A fox and a dog stumble upon each other in the woods and become fast friends. That's what happened on the summer of 2013, when Norwegian photographer Torgeir Berge went out for a walk with his German shepherd Tinny, and they encountered an abandoned baby fox. Tinny lives with his owner photographer Torgeir Berge in the forests of Norway. One day, while they were on a walk together in the woods, they met a wild fox that they named Sniffer. Since then the fox, which Berge named Sniffer, has been a regular addition to their walks in the woods, coming around to play with 4-year-old Tinny for a couple of hours on most days. Despite the thousands of years of breeding and the social circumstances that stood between them, they became the unlikely animal friends. Now, Berge follows the cute couple around as they romp and play through the woods. The way the two adorable animals play together reminds us that wild animals, which many of us fear or disrespect, can be far more similar to the domesticated animals we love than we thought. The experience has changed Berge's mind about Norway's fox fur trade. He now helps work to ban the hunting of foxes for their fur. He hopes to achieve this, and so he published a book about the duo's adventures called The Fox and the Dog together with writer Berit Helberg. Nevertheless, this special couple deserves their own book, mostly because we in this way can be the voice of the animals, help Sniffer's own fox family and breed, and hopefully increase the knowledge for people who are not aware of how similar foxes and dogs actually are. They also hope the story will raise awareness for animal rights and the conditions that some animals are forced live in as a result of the fur trade, Helberg said. Torque the dog and Shrek the owl. In the childhood fairy tale, it was the owl and the pussycat who were the very best of friends. But in real life it is this greyhound and owl who have formed a rather bizarre friendship at an animal center. The 6-month-old dog, Torque, adopted tiny baby owl Shrek when she was taken from her mother for her own protection after just 3 days. Keepers feared Shrek's mother would eat her first clutch if she became stressed. Adoptive dad Torque is now guarding the rare bird at the home of head falconer John Picton. They spend their evenings together watching EastEnders and Coronation Street. Shrek is free to roam the lounge as she strengthens her legs and often snuggles up to Torque on the sofa. Outdoors at the Ringwood Raptor and Reptile Center in Hampshire's New Forest, they often sit together, with the greyhound guarding his feathered friend. Their friendship started slowly as John introduced the unlikely pair gradually, first by feeding 3-inch-high Shrekker meals of marsh rats and quail in the same room, and then holding them close so Torque could smell her. Tame Shrek will be used as a display owl at Fates and Open Days, and John believes her interaction with dogs and humans from an early age is ideal training. He said, "Their relationship is so unusual but also rather sweet." Torque seems to have adopted Shrek as his daughter and is now very protective. He follows her around at home and keeps his eye on her. They play with each other in the evenings while I'm watching television, and it is an opportunity for Shrek to wander and strengthen her legs. John said he was a little wary of introducing them to start with, but he now trusts Torque 100%. Because he is only a puppy, he didn't feel so threatened by a new animal joining his pack. Shrek is doing well and becoming used to human and animal contact. I'm sure that will be beneficial when she is taken to shows because nothing will faze her. John stated. The unnamed mother laid 4 eggs, of which 2 hatched. Shrek was the first owlet to hatch and was taken away because it was thought she had the highest chance of survival. Fred the Labrador and Dennis the duckling. Dennis the baby duck was left for dead when its mother was mauled by a vixen. The bird, which was less than a week old, would have died in the wild had it not been taken in by 4-year-old Fred and his owner Jeremy Goldsmith, 44. Amazingly, the Labrador took an immediate shine to the duckling and began to clean the muddy duck with its tongue. Now the unlikely mates sleep together, play together, and even go swimming in the local pond. Jeremy, who owns Mountfitchet Castle, in Stansted, Essex, where the animal was found, said Fred has become a modern stay-at-home dad to the duckling. He said, "It is amazing to see the two of them together. When we found Dennis, he was quite frail and he clearly would not have survived another day on his own." Fred, who has always been extremely loving, went straight up to him and began to lick the little bird clean. Since then, Dennis has not stopped following him around and Fred has pretty much adopted him. Dennis snuggles up to Fred at night, he will clamber up on top of him and they even go swimming together, but Fred is a lot less graceful in the water. I don't think the duckling would have made it without Fred. His loving nature really does make a difference. Fred grew up with all our animals and has such a loving nature that he always fathers any orphans. He even took over looking after Lupin, a fallow deer, when she was tiny. Though Dennis sees Fred more as mother, so I suppose he is a bit like of those modern stay-at-home dads. Milo the dog and Bonedigger the lion. Bonedigger is a huge male lion. He weighs in at a whopping 500 pounds. And, like all lions, has the potential to be a killer that could threaten even men. Yet, he has a soft heart and a special place in his life for little Milo. While these two friends are very different and come from backgrounds that are worlds apart, they both suffered difficulty that brought them into each other's lives. Now, they're inseparable. Everyone could stand to learn about friendship from Bonedigger and his friend, Milo. They make an odd couple, but their love for each other and tolerance set an example that we could all follow. These two don't care about their differences or that the world thinks they should be enemies, they're just happy to hang out together. Milo and Bonedigger live together in an animal park, the GW Exotic Animal Park found in Wynwood, Oklahoma. While Milo isn't exactly an exotic animal, he gains his fame from spending time with his pal, the king of the jungle. In fact, there are a number of dachshunds living at the animal park and they all get along well with the lion, but Milo is definitely his favorite pal. The two were raised by Mr. Reinke, who is a pretty amazing creature himself, albeit a human one. This man has a special touch with the animals and has created a park home for them that fosters the unique bonds they've formed. Mr. Reinke is someone worth reading about, too, and we'll cover a bit of his story shortly. It is, after all, an integral part of the story of Milo and Bonedigger. Mabel the chicken and the puppies. You'd be forgiven for thinking that chickens and dogs were not natural bedfellows. But a 1-year-old hen that thinks it's a dog has adopted a litter of puppies, much to the bemusement of their canine mother. Mabel has taken to keeping the small dogs warm by snuggling up to them while their mother, Nettle, sits out in the yard at a farm in Shrewsbury. Owners Edward and Rose Tate saved Mabel from the pot and now the hen has taken to roosting on the litter of puppies. Mr. Tate said, Mabel was hatched here about a year ago. She would have gone onto someone's dinner plate but we saved her. Unfortunately, she got into an accident with a horse, which accidentally trod on her foot. Because of that, she gets terribly cold during the winter so we decided to bring her into the house. We have a dog, Nettle, which has just given birth to a litter of pups. Within a few days of giving birth, Nettle was up and about, prowling in the yard. Mabel observed Nettle's behavior and, as soon as there was a chance, she hopped into the dog basket to roost on the pups. She keeps them and herself warm, while Nettle is outside on the yard. Shere Khan, Baloo and Leo. There's no way a lion, a tiger and a bear would live in harmony as a trio in the wild, but things were a little different at Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary in Locust Grove, Georgia. Baloo the bear, Leo the lion and Shere Khan the tiger were rescued together during a drug raid in Atlanta in 2001, when they were only a few months old. The Georgia Department of Natural Resources took the cubs, who were all scared, malnourished and infected with parasites, to the 250-acre nonprofit animal rescue, and their lives were transformed. From the start, the three predators showed signs of a strong bond. When they were first brought to the sanctuary, Baloo, Shere Khan and Leo were injured, frightened and clinging to one another for comfort, Noah's Ark curator Alison Hedgecoth told the Huffington Post. They were already seeking out one another for comfort and displayed affection by snuggling, grooming and playing with one another, Hedgecoth said. This wasn't too much of a surprise, but what was more unexpected was the enduring friendship that continued throughout the years. Even though Baloo, Leo and Shere Khan lived in a 3-acre enclosure, it was common to find them within 100 feet of each other. That's proof that they're not just coexisting or cohabiting, they actually do enjoy each other's company, Hedgecoth told Inside Edition. Cassie the cheetah and Matani the Labrador. Cassie the cheetah and Matani the Labrador retriever are growing up together at Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. Cassie is an orphan and the keepers at Busch Gardens introduced her to Matani when she was 6 weeks old. Both Cassie and Matani are rescued animals. The name, Cassie, means one with speed, and Matani means close friend in the Swahili language. Cassie and Matani love to run and jump and play with each other. Sometimes they get to visit schools or television studios to talk about cheetahs in the wild. Thank you for watching.